We are in Maine, Weld, Maine to be specific. It is October, day after Columbus Day, and the foliage is out, significantly out. It looks amazing out here. I am out here sitting at an overlook waiting for the sun to come up. We got about an hour before the sun comes up, and at that point I can pull you out and we can take a look around and you can see what's going on. So here's my plan for today. Big day. So sunrise, kind of what we're doing this morning. What I'm hoping to do, I'm not necessarily going to get the sunrise itself, but what should happen, if I remember correctly, is the sun is going to come up at the head of the lake over on this side, and the mountains are over on this side. And what should happen is the sun lights up the mountains over here, and especially with foliage, you want the light on the trees. Otherwise, you just end up with silhouettes if you're looking into the light. So I'm going to let the light come across the lake here and get some of the mountains. I'm not sure, I may do a panoramic when I get out here and kind of look around. It's a great spot for it. I'm sitting in a parking lot. Behind me is part of Mount Blue State Park, and in front of me, which you'll see in a little bit, is Webb Lake. So we're going to do that. Not going to spend too much time here. And then, and I'll show you in a little bit, we're headed up a mountain. Very excited about that. I've been dying to climb a mountain and do some shots from the top. This is by far my favorite mountain, and I haven't been up it in a couple of years, so very excited. Tumble Down Mountain. Talk more about that in a little bit. I'm going to sit here and wait for the sun to come up, and we will talk to you again in a little bit. We're starting to get a little light out here. As you can see, I'm all bundled up. It is cold out this morning, about 38 degrees. That's enough to make it a little chilly when you got to stand out here in the middle of a field. So you can see behind me the colors and the lake. There's a lot going on. I don't necessarily have a composition yet. Ultimately, I want a photo of the mountain and probably a panoramic of the lake. Trying to find a composition. So I'm just kind of walking around. But what I want to show you is where we're going. Right there. That is the mountain that we are going to be going up. Tumble Down Mountain, named because of the face that kind of tumbles down right there. So yeah, when we get up there, we'll have 360-degree views of all of this. I don't know if the video even does the color justice. It's just incredible. And the sun is still a half hour from coming up, so there's very little light. So I'm going to continue walking around, see if I can't find a composition to complement these colors. Composition number one. There's a rock in this field. So the field that I'm standing in here, all of this red, these are blueberry bushes. Obviously been cut down because it's way past blueberry season at this point. So I've got a rock right here, and you can see that is kind of pointing up towards the mountain range. And I'm using about 100 millimeters right now, so really compressing that rock and making it give the appearance that the mountains are a lot closer than they really are. So now I'm just waiting for the sun to come up over the hills and light up those mountains. It's going to be a great shot. I mean, even the ones that I've just taken just to test out the composition without the light is still awesome. So after I'm done with that, I think I'm going to come back around over on this side, which you're not going to be able to see because the sun is coming up. There's a rock wall. I might use that as a lead-in line down to the water and see if I can't get a panoramic. So I'm going to try to stay warm out here. close, the sun is just starting to touch the top of these hills, and I have to show you. So I'm going to turn you around. You can see it just touching the top. So what I'm doing is for a composition. You can see I'm compressing the rock and the mountains, running at an f14 or 1.3 seconds, and I'm bracketing. I don't have any filters for this particular lens, and ISO is 50, and it's just coming out great. Alright, so moving on to composition number 2. Before I lose this wonderful light hitting the mountains over there, I'm going to try to get a shot of the lake and try to incorporate this rock wall that I'm walking towards here as a lead-in line leading out to the mountains and the lake. See how it goes. Alright, so definitely using this rock wall looks great. I'm kind of hurrying. I've already taken a lot of the shots just simply because I'm running out of time. The sun is going to come up and I'm going to lose a good part of this light, but let me just show you what. Alright, so here's the rock wall. There's the mountains and the lake. And just look at that range right there. And that's where we're going to be climbing in just a little bit. And what I'm doing for a composition, as you might expect. Come on, focus here. There we go. Using that to lead on out. I'm also doing something like that. Isn't too bad. Okay. So you got, you know, a third and as well as a lead-in line. And if my voice is shaking, it's because I'm colder than heck out here. I don't have any gloves and I've been standing out here for a long time, but it's so worth it. Alrighty, all done here. Now, it's time to climb a mountain. We are at the trailhead. It is a 1.9 mile hike. I'm hoping to get it done in about an hour and 15 minutes. I'd like to keep the sun at a lower level when I'm up there, and all I wanted is to light up the trees. The name of the trail here is the Brook Trail. There are 2 trails up this, or 3 trails up this mountain. Brook Trail, Loop Trail, and Parker Ridge. Yeah, so I grew up here. This is where I come from. So I know these trails quite well. I've been on this mountain many, many times, but never from the perspective of a photography adventure. In fact, I've been planning to come up here. I think this is the 3rd attempt at coming up here to do photography. So here I am. I'm actually probably happy that I did this in the fall. You know, I had planned it in the spring, and then there was another plan again in the summer, and neither one of those worked out, but this one looks like it's going to work out. Man, the colors are amazing this year. So, trail starts out nice, easy, old logging trail here, and then as we get to about a mile and a quarter, mile and a half, it shoots up straight. And it's a pretty tough little walk, so I'm gonna get huffing here so I can get up to the top, and if there's any luck, we'll be able to get some good shots along the way, and then who knows at the top, we'll have to see. So I remembered something as I was walking. I'm out of shape. Whew. I have not been doing my running like I usually do. I certainly haven't climbed a mountain, so I haven't gotten very far, and I'm already out of breath. Part of that's the altitude. I live at sea level, and this is not sea level. So, up, up, up we go. At least the view's good. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? No. Are we there yet? Definitely not. Are we there yet? Nope. Are we there yet? No. No way. Are we there yet? We are. Well, close enough anyway. We're at the top. I am tired, but man, it's so worth it. Just awesome. Quick note about climbing, especially in the autumn. It's probably no more than 35 degrees out, maybe 40 in the sun. Make sure you layer. I almost didn't bring this jacket. In the last minute I did, and honestly, I would have had to stop. I wouldn't have been able to come all the way up to the top if I didn't have it, because I'd worked up quite a sweat in the woods and then got up to the top, and there's a 10-15 mile an hour breeze up here, and without the wind stopper I would be frigid and shaking. So thank goodness I brought it. Make sure you layer. I've got 4 layers on, and I've taken some off and put some back on throughout the climb, and that's the idea behind that. Now, lecture over. Let me show you the view. So let's see if I can block out the sun for you a little bit. That is Webb Lake over there, where we started the morning. We were roundabout in there is where we were taking pictures this morning. And just the color out here is truly unbelievable. Just look out there. Now, over here, right about, let's see, where's my finger? There is Mount Washington, which is a long way away, but you can see it as clear as day today. That is a good, I think, 2,000 feet higher than this. But man, you can just see everything out here. I would have liked some clouds, but you know what? I wouldn't have the vistas. I wouldn't be able to see as far if I had clouds. So I just won't have as much of the sky, which is fine, because what I want to be looking at is that down there. So right now I'm resting. It was a good haul. And then what I'm going to do, you really can't see it from here, but I have to go back down the mountain a little bit. There's a viewpoint that will get me these mountains, this lake over here, and then Tumble Down Pond all in one shot, creating a leading line out to the mountains. That's the shot I came up here for. Had every intention of making it a sunrise shot, but I just wasn't ready to do this climb in the dark, and I'm glad that I didn't, because that would not have been a fun climb in the dark. So what I really need to do is come up here, camp, do sunset and sunrise, and then go back down. That's the right way to do it. But for now, just enjoy that scenery. I mean, if you're not from New England, you don't ever get to see this. If you are from New England, you may not be able to see this perspective very often. So I'm going to take a little rest, and then we're going to do what we came up here to do, which is take some images. All right, well, before I go doing the shot I was talking about ahead, I am going to do a little selfie. And so there's that outcrop. And I'm using this longer lens. camera. And there's the shot. See, sitting right up there in that outcropping. I've got a remote. I think it'll reach. We'll find out. Otherwise, it's going to be a long timer, and I'm just going to have to sit over there for a while. Anyway, we're going to try this out. Hopefully, I have a nice shot of myself up on top of the mountain. Well, I thought that I knew a good spot that I could get both ponds, or both the pond and the lake in the same shot. And I think the only way I'm going to get that is if I climb over onto that ridge, which I'm not going to do because I have to go. There'll be a lot of climbing, and just that's not in the cards today. So what I have done is I found a nice vertical composition here with some red cranberry bush leftovers that leads you out into the pond, which leads you up Little Jackson and then out into the mountains beyond. Nice little shot. Maybe not what I came here for, but I think still a decent shot. So hopefully it came out. I'll show you right now. I want to talk quickly about the lens that I'm using. I rented this specifically for this trip. It is a Sony 24-250, marketed on the rental site as wildlife photography. Probably not something that I don't know, it's hard to say because it seems to be a very good landscape lens. I would not want it for portraiture, and I do portraits here and there, as it is a variable aperture. So as you start at 24, you're at f3.6 is the lowest you can go, and then as you gradually increase to 250, it goes all the way up to f6.7 or something like that, which is perfectly fine for landscape because the most of the time I'm 8 and above anyway, or at least between 8 and 16, so perfectly fine for landscape. But I would not want this for portrait. So that being said, the reason that I went with this, it got good reviews as far as quality was concerned, and without having to changing any lenses, I can go from wide angle to telephoto very quickly. And I plan on taking some video up here, which I've done, and it works out really well for that. So that being said, now I'm on to a shot here that I'm going to use wide angle. Thus far I've been doing a lot of been right around the 100mm to 200mm range because I was trying to compress the mountains. But I don't want to do that this time. I want to see everything. So I've got this boulder in front of me that's surrounded by the cranberry gorse, which is bright red, and I'm hoping that's going to stand out, as well as the green pine trees here. And then in the background, Webb Lake leading us out to the mountains. There's some windmills out there, and then just this epic autumn foliage, which I'm hoping, even though I've got the sun directly above me, I'm hoping that I don't lose a lot of the color. If I had a polarizer for this lens, I would be using it, but I don't because it's not my lens, so therefore I don't have a 72mm polarizer. All that being said, I'm going to start taking this picture, and hopefully you like it. lot easier than going up. It is no less beautiful. Well, that wraps up my adventure in Weld, Maine this morning. I'm so glad I got out here and did this. I always kind of toss it around that I'm going to come up here, I'm going to do this, and just could not have picked a better day to have tried to fit all this in. I had astrophotography this morning, sunrise, a mountain climb, foliage. You can't fit more photography into one day, even though I'm going to try. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed coming along on this little adventure. You'll notice I didn't really talk too much about camera settings or anything like that. I was really just kind of in the moment of the scenery, and I couldn't really talk about it too much. But I am going to start including the EXIF data underneath the images as I show them, so you will have that. I think there's probably some that might learn something from this. I'm still learning myself, so I'm certainly not expecting anybody to think that I'm a teacher of any sort, but EXIF data can be important. If you find an image that you like, you can try to recreate it yourself. That's all I'm doing. I learned from other folks who were doing the same thing. Mainly, I were in focus on composition, also not breaking my neck. After I'm done getting composition, it's just a matter of exposure and dynamic range, which on a day like today, it's so gosh darn windy. You take whatever you can get. As far as dynamic range is concerned, just try to even out your exposure as much as possible and take the image. So I think I have some prints here. I'm pretty excited. If you like this video, I think I did a good job. Give me a thumbs up. Feel free to leave a comment. Subscribe. Love to hear from you. If you have any questions about this area, you want to come out here and do some hiking, I'd be glad to answer questions in that regard. I know this area very well. Yeah, that's it. So, hope you were able to get out this week. I hope some of you are in areas where you could get some foliage, and signing out.